understand.
Hello. The one thing I don't have on here, happy Friday. Yes, 200 subscribers. So I decided to be super casual today. I did not decide that actually. I was running around and I took a shower and I ran late because I was like, I started gardening. So um I was like, what is that? I'm still kind of getting one little thing situated because I have two displays now and I need to figure out. There we go. Ooh, I have this question that right now I'm like dying to ask because it's happening. Does anyone, and I know there's not many people yet here, but I get so like such itchy leg skin, I was going to say, but that sounds really weird. But my legs only are so itchy after the shower. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. The other part too, I was trying to I wasn't trying. I need to figure out how. I don't remember how I added another like the music on here. Huh. No, like the whole leg. Like the whole leg, especially my thighs actually. Well, no, I lie. Everything. Like from like hip bone to like to the ankles. Not my feet, not above. Hi Maria. Um yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you feel any better than you were? Was it Monday or Friday even? Hi Maria. Hi, I don't know if Palaver Girl is still here. Let me catch up on this chat. It's so cool to see like the chat before I come on here. All you guys talking. But yeah, itchy legs after shower. This is a poll. I don't know that this is like a girl poll. I don't think it's like gender based. I think it's maybe the hard water system. You know, I still don't really understand. I don't know if we have soft or hard water here. Something we have something. Hi Arnaldo. So I don't know if it's that. I'm trying to also get the sound. Oh, this one I think it is. Mm-hmm.
I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but
I need to find out how this works. How this like I want to have the sound a little bit. Hi on him. Everyone's here. I want to have like the music a little bit. It's Friday. I'm bringing the music back. But not overpowering. So, all right, let me catch up. Okay, hold on. I am ADHD central over here. I'm trying to do everything. Like, you know how I don't know if you've had this experience, probably, because I think everyone who's been on a computer has had this experience. But when you're like researching something, or I don't know, and then you open a tab, and then you open another tab, and it gives you another idea, and you open another tab. That's my brain. Um, where's the settings tab? Where is the settings? And then I'll catch up with the chat in a second. I'm trying. This is a goal of mine. Is I mean, it goes into that taking up space and being so uncomfortable taking up space. Goal is to not be. I was thinking when I was coming on live, A, that I was so late. B, and I've been more than late than tonight before, and other people have been late. But yeah, B, well, eating. I have like ice cream. Um, and I was trying to eat a little bit before. But yeah, eating or just like having like less pressure on being like perfect for, these lives. When I watch people, I have a lot more patience than I guess imagine that other people have for me or that I have for me, but it's really probably like what I imagine, like, oh my gosh, let me like not waste your time, or I don't know. Yeah, I think also the YouTube culture, the whole idea, and not so much for the lives. That's why like it's interesting with podcasts. Everyone's more chill. People take their time. And for me, it's like so stressful on this other side to do that because I'm still on the you have to be really quick, you have to be short, and I'm so long winded. And I remember just years of being on YouTube. Well, I was just like a year and a half maybe on YouTube doing vlogs and just thinking, oh my gosh, it's 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes long. It's more than 45. It's like 30 minutes. Yay. It's 20 minutes. Very short lived, those 20 minutes. Um, and just thinking like I am too long winded. So I think like all of that is I'm trying to, or my goal is to unlearn that. And there's people out there that will not be like, ew, I have to like turn it off because she's taking forever to get started or whatever. I mean there's people out there for everyone, because I remember I was watching Popcorn Planets. He's huge. It was both Andy and Kim. They're huge. Huge channel, huge following, huge people, so many people in the chat. And yet he still had people who are like, can you get to the point? Can you start the live? And he was like, I'm waiting for people to come in, because people come in. Um, and yeah, I know that I get stressed out when I'm like, I hope people have introductions on their lives, because yeah. Okay, hold on. What am I? Oh no, I fixed that. Okay, never mind. All right, let me just get to the chat. I fixed the thing. Yeah, we're having an interesting conversation tonight. We have this came to my attention yesterday, the whole Trump Elon thing, and I thought it was hilarious. And both like kind of sitting on the edge of your seat, hilarious. Like, will it be hilarious or will it be like scary? We don't know. Like, I feel like that's because I don't know for sure, but this is what I heard. This is like a soundbite that I caught, that Elon is the richest man in the world. How about like all those rich people in like Abu Dhabi and stuff? I don't know. But anyways, he's the richest man in the world, or one of them. He's top there. Then you have the president, who is already like hectic, and you don't know what's going to happen and what he will like do and say and all that stuff. Sorry. Um, and yeah, you're saying he is, Maria. And then they're going at it like this is not about a whole country and people's lives at stake, kind of thing, but it's also entertaining. It's crazy. And my take on it was like, darn it, Blake cannot catch a break. A white privileged rich girl cannot catch a break on getting more attention. Because she was just getting started with all these amicus briefs, which we'll get into. And then here comes Elon. Here comes the men again. White rich men taking the center stage again. I don't know. I thought that was like a funny thing. Um, oh, I'm sorry that you're having a hard week. Um, all right. Let me catch up. Let me start at the top. So you want to know something ironic. Lyman had already, is it Lehman or Lyman? I don't know who says Lehman, forget, but I was like, Lyman had already been doing a case against Elon recently and a case against Trump. The one against Trump was something about congestion tax or tariff in New York. I remember the Instagram. I follow New York. I forget what New York. Love New York. I love New York or whatever something on Instagram because I love New York and I really wish I would have lived there, but I don't think it's going to happen. Either way, and I remember the congestion tax coming in, happening, and people were like just waiting for the, parked on the street in the car, just waiting for the tax to stop. Um, I don't know how much it was. I thought it was like a kind of a good idea ish. Maybe it needed a little finessing and a little thing, but um, yeah, I thought it wasn't a bad idea, but I don't know that the kind of like 47.1, although I was listening to Ask Two Lawyers and they made a pretty good case for keeping 47.1 as it is. Um so I don't know. I didn't watch all of it, but that I watched like 60% of it of their video. But kind of like that, it's not going to make everyone happy. And again, like it might not have been like a perfectly made tax, but yeah. I think New York isn't that bad though as like California, as LA. When I went, and albeit I was there only for a weekend in LA one time, so I don't know, but I feel like LA traffic is way worse, and you'll have less means to get around it. Like New York, you have the subway system, which is pretty reliable, pretty good, um, and like just common knowledge to take that. Meanwhile, like I think in LA, everyone's like by car, and it's just 2 hours in traffic. And yeah, maybe they should have started with that one. And richer people. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who has more like ratio rich to not rich people. But that's interesting. I wish I could. It's probably really easy, but I don't think that I have the what do you call it? The research skills to look for this. I need to make this brighter. How do I make this brighter? This is the thing with this monitor. Like it's just so not bright. I can't see. Can't see at all. Gosh darn it. I don't know. All right. Anyways, now I'm in something. Okay. I might have to. But I thought, like, oh, I was about to research that. I'm like, let's look at what this guy looks like. What this guy looks like. This is Judge Lyman. All right. Lyman. Oh, let's see if anything pops up. Imagine, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like maybe he's like doctors or like Ivan. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry. I imagine that I'm gonna stop the music for this for the screen sharing because I will share some videos. But I imagine Judge Lyman being kind of like, or judges being more like therapists or doctors, but more like therapists, where because when you think about it, if he has and I'm not seeing it and I don't know, but like if he has oh, interesting. If he has these like big cases with like more important people than Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, frankly. Um, you could think like, oh my gosh, like he's probably like so over this case, or he's thinking, what a joke is this case? But really, I think he judges in general, and I am assuming him too, are like therapists where they don't really judge people's problems or people's mm, weight, pun not intended. Like, who's, this isn't like sitting really well on this shirt, who's bigger or more important, or like has more likelihood to get more damage to society or whatever. I think, they approach things per se, they tackle each thing as it comes, so to speak. What am I talking about? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think this whole like amicus brief, based on what the two lawyers were saying, I think it's potentially going to change things a lot. It is, I mean, I feel like, yeah, we've seen so much where this is not a fair thing, and I was even thinking, did Blake and her lawyers think about this, think ahead of this? That, did they like tackle every single potential, excuse me, counter argument that Friedman might come with? Because it did seem like she did not think that she would go to trial. So I don't know. Okay, all right. So I'm guessing this is the one because I see these little things. Judge temporarily blocks Trump from retaliating against New York over congestion toll. This was not that long ago, May 28, 2025. It is so weird to have this big of a screen. A federal judge in New York has temporarily prevented President Donald Trump. I need to drink water. From retaliate. Okay, we shouldn't make a rule. Don't have the title be the same as the first sentence or so close to the first sentence of the article. Whoop. Sorry. Coming back. Um, on Tuesday, issued a temporary. Oh my gosh. Shoot. Sorry. Where is my mouse? Uh, temporary restraining order blocking the federal government from withholding federal funds or taking over punitive actions against the state at least until June 9th, while he weighs a lawsuit the state has filed against the federal government to keep the toll in place. Mm. So Trump does not like the. Doesn't he want freaking more money? I don't understand what he wants. I take that back. I don't think he has like a very. This is, yeah. He doesn't have a very clear, this is what I'm about, this is what I'm about. He's more politician than politicians have been, I feel like. He like changes all the time, goes with interests, it goes with what's like in his face at that time or whatever. Anyways, all right. So so what I'm understanding is that Lyman said pause. You can't butt in federal government until this lawsuit is not necessarily done, but like he has like looked at it or something. Okay. What do you guys think? Because a couple of you I think are from maybe Brooklyn, New York area. I think, right? I don't know, maybe not. Um, what do you think? Even if you're not from there, what do you think about this tariff, this toll, basically? A toll started in January and generally imposes $9 on drivers entering Manhattan south of Central Park. Okay. Through, though it varies depending on the kind of vehicle and time of day. New York officials say the program is already helping to reduce traffic and will eventually pump billions of dollars into its subways, commuter trains, and public buses. Suburban commuters have pushed back against the toll, though, because it comes on top of existing ones for crossing bridges and tunnels into the city. I mean, that is true. That is true. London, Stockholm, and other big cities around the world have long had similar fees to reduce traffic congestion in their central business districts. I think even Romania has one for, but maybe it's more of the entering the city. There's a city in the seaside, Constanza, and I don't know why it makes me think that it has something similar. Let me pull, where is my little to-do list here? New York. I'm curious, like what, okay, so weekdays from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., weekends from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and overnight $2.25, $2.25, $2.25. All right. Now, overnight, I feel like there shouldn't be because there is traffic, but it's not, I don't remember it being that bad. Um, yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. There are such like uh, big tolls entering, but it's only from the north. I don't remember the south being tolled. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I need to go more. Why is this chat not working? Okay. You've never been to New York, Maria. Um, yeah, I like it. It's not for everyone. Um, I think it's worth seeing once at least. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I'm kind of in between, but it's not really affecting me that much. I can see definitely both sides. But that's kind of, I guess, what the point is. Like, you can't just like oppose something. Yeah, there's a whole lawsuit. People will have to like bring, both sides have to bring their arguments. So interesting. Yeah, I didn't see anything with Elon, but maybe. I don't remember what the Elon Musk one was about, but I remember seeing one when I was looking up cases Lyman was busy with. Oh, keeping tabs on Lyman, why he's not responding. He started responding. Let's see, Elon Musk. Literally put, okay. He's now, okay. Whew. Well, we have two conflicting stories. One is that he's silencing Elon. The other is that he allowed him to continue. This one is May 28th again. This one's like about a month ago. Let's see what this one's about.
Hitting the polished wooden block echoed through the Manhattan federal courtroom like a thunderclap, silencing every whisper and rustle.
All right, I'm gonna pass on this one. It seems like, well, I mean, it's 100% an AI one, but it seems like there's so many with Blake and Justin that have like zero. They don't say anything, and then they also have like no. There's like nothing's credible. Let's see this one's though. Federal judge allows Elon Musk lawsuit to continue filed by in other states. New Hampshire, no, New Mexico. Um, excuse me. A federal judge is allowing a lawsuit to proceed, which alleges Elon Musk was not properly appointed to his eye-level position and has been illegally making sweeping changes to the. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. um, yeah. There's I don't think that's needed anymore. Uh okay, so he he said, "Hold up, Trump. And then he said, okay, people, what do you have to say against Elon? All right. And they're both fair points in exploration as far as lawsuit, I think. All right. Yeah, I have 200 subscribers. 2 today, which was so cool. Um, I'm celebrating it, and also like need to get to that 500. I am so curious what happens. It's probably going to be underwhelming. Like what happens behind the veil of monetization. I'm so curious. So curious. um but yeah, thank you so much, Rose Wild. And I think I'm almost caught up. Um Yeah, the itchiness, it should. I mean, in the past, I've had the whole body itch. Well, just my arms and legs. Um, it could be like dry skin too. I don't know, but like I don't know. My arms are dry too. I don't know. It's a mystery I may never solve. Um, Diddy fights her for #1 story at times too. Yeah, but Diddy was before Blake. So it's almost kind of, oh, I have 204 subscribers. Sorry, I pressed to see before. One is me because it was one of my other channels. I'm like, oh, I should subscribe to myself. I'll unsubscribe because then my data driven brain is going to have such like an annoyance trying to like always subtract one. So I have 203 subscribers. Um, but yeah, yay. I don't know how. I love it though. I'm so like excited and yeah. But yes, if you're watching this on replay, or here and you aren't subscribed, or check that you're subscribed if you want to be subscribed and subscribe. I don't know. I always feel so weird saying that. I never say it. But yeah, Diddy was like before Blake, long before her. So I mean, we knew it was coming before her. So I don't really see that as competition. And also, I'm not seeing like Elon and Trump as competition because they're not a trial. Yeah, they're not a lawsuit. They're just like going at it in the media, in their respective media. I have some quotes from The Daily Show because, last time I tried to play just like the shortest clip I've ever played of anything, and it was not allowing me for a second to play it. So I'm just going to read you, what they said, their jokes and everything. Um, but yeah, like I felt like, yeah, she was like getting like ahead. I don't think it matters that much. I don't think she wants. I don't. What does Blake want right now? You know what? I feel like I'm more confused than ever as far as what Blake wanted to begin with and wants now. These amicus briefs or amici. I'll say amici because I know it's not Italian, it's Latin, but we'll go with it. Um, I don't know why amici sounds like maybe it's more correct. I don't know. But yeah, these briefs, they're I don't know why they're making my head confused about her. I don't know. Yeah. Uh, Wait, who did you unsubscribe from? Was it the Ask Two Lawyers that you unsubscribed from? Yeah, my music. So sorry. I don't understand why they're trying to bully Justin with these briefs when they should be upset with her because they are backing a false accuser. Um, we'll get into reading these or the one what was the motion to seal? Represent Jed Wallace and Streley relation. The letter motion is unopposed to seal personal medical information. Well, it took long enough. Yeah, I'm gonna read the Darvo one basically because that one I didn't read, and then the child one, the parts maybe that I didn't read. We'll see. Time wise, I don't really have too much besides these 2 points, but we'll see. And I know it's like Friday, but I'm gonna try to like not go too late too. Which one is it? I think I just had it open. Yeah, the one from like a bunch of organizations in one. The Sanctuary for Families. I know Rose Wild, you kind of told me, I think about that, or you just told me there's a new one. And yeah, I didn't really even notice that there's like a bunch of people in there. So I'm gonna read and see. My belief is that Blake's side, her lawyers, reached out to these organizations. One of you mentioned that they could have easily just promised donations if they win, kind of. I think that's still bad. I think it's still under the you shouldn't. But I don't know, maybe that's something that they did, or just my personal belief is that they didn't really even have to do that. They didn't really have to promise any money to any of these parties. Excuse me. All they had to do is present their case in a way that looks like she's being bullied, she's being darvoed, and all this stuff. That's all they had to do, because I remember my therapist saying that when, like, we all have a radar. Like, if we're imagining we're in a submarine and we have a radar, or, you know, the uh, airplane. What do you call the airplane things? I don't know. Yeah, let's just stick to the submarine. So you have a radar, and then you have you're looking for objects. If you're looking to spot bad objects, threats, etc., you're going to see them. You're going to see them more. And when they do pop, it's going to be so much bigger of a reaction, red alert, all that stuff. If you're not looking to see the bad stuff, if you're just like browsing the radar, just waiting, open minded, then you're not going to, like, the bad stuff, you're still going to see it, but it's not going to to give like such a strong reaction. Maybe it's not the best analogy, but for some reason that's the analogy that popped into my head. These organizations and these people that are writing these, they're um they're seeing what they want to see, just like so many people on both sides. I mean, there's people on Justin's side that don't really see it, very critically thinking. They're just seeing it because they want to see it. I don't think we hear as many of those voices. But yeah, like the voices that we haven't talked about, because I don't think they're really there, because they don't really need to also. But I'm sure there are men out there that say, yeah, women are liars. Just like I saw on Reddit, like, I will never support a man because men are just inherently just bad. So there's all those people. I don't think these organizations are those people, but those are like the easiest ones to spot that way. And then you have organizations that this is what they're looking for. They're looking for reasons to fight injustices when it comes to these issues, and to make sure that everyone's safe, to make sure in theory they're doing it for safety, for like a good cause. But when you're like just looking for that all the time, you're going to see that in things that are not there, and someone can manipulate you to see that what you are fighting against in their case. So I think that's more likely what is happening with these. Or we might not like it, but it might be that they have a good point, and I'm not saying that the way that they're saying the point and their point per se, but as far as like not changing the 47.1 civil code and et cetera, they might have a good point as far as, I think I said it in my last video, like if you don't have this law, it's going to hurt people. If you have this law, it's going to hurt people. There is no perfect law that will have like, it will be foolproof to not hurt innocent people. It'll be either innocent on one side or innocent on the other side. What is, I don't know how, but what would be ideal is to make it a little bit better, or to have the decision being, in this case, a little bit more factually based than, well, she just claimed it and there you go. We have to, do this civil code. He can't sue for this. And another thing that I thought of, like, can he sue afterwards when they win? If they win, if it goes that far, whatever, could he have sued then instead of now? I don't know. I don't know. I was asking and I didn't see. Let me see if you answered. It was, yeah, I asked two lawyers. You unfollowed. I didn't unfollow them. I think they were quite right. I actually really enjoy that they were presenting the reality of it. It's easy to get really tied to how unfair it is in this case. We really believe, I am with you, I really believe that Blake is not truthful. I don't think that she is doing this in good faith. I don't really know. It's confusing as to why. Like, there's so many theories, but at the end of the day, I really don't know why. But based on like all that, the information that we have so far, I don't think this is a good case for 47.1 to exist in this lawsuit. But what they're saying is, unfortunately, good people will slip by. But the majority of people will be protected by that law. And it's important to protect that law as much as possible. I still feel like, again, I didn't read it. I wanted to read this whatever civil code. I don't think it's a law technically. I don't know, but I wanted to read it because, what does it actually say? And is there? I wouldn't be the person to know because I'm, who am I? But is there a way to make it more constitutionally sound, as far as like the right for a person to defend themselves, the right to I don't know what it is. Whatever that. It's not a right to free speech. Is it under the right to free speech? I don't know. No, the law, the due process one. So, yeah, but, and they also said that earlier on, as two lawyers said that technically he is able to defend himself, just not sue her, like counter sue her. Yeah, it's tough. It's such this one's a big one because it's basically posing a question, whether people like it or not. It's posing a question, well, how is good faith determined if you're not getting to the discovery phase? If you're not getting to the trial phase, how is it determined? How can you tell that it's in good faith? It's hard. It's hard. It's not fun. Let me keep going down so I can really catch up. No, it wasn't your pods going crazy, Anja. I'm sorry. There's a ton of huge cases going on, and many are more important than Blake's. Yeah. Although, like with this is pretty huge. you know, this whole idea of 47.1, this is getting really big. That was why I was looking it up, because he wasn't responding to anything, and I looked it up and saw he had a ton of huge cases, more important than Blake. Yeah, yeah. And probably more like recent, or they're coming up faster than hers. And subscribed from them today. The video you mentioned, Ezra is on board of one. They donated to another. They promised pro bono work to another. So there is a pattern. What pro bono work? Oh, the lawyers got promised pro bono work to another one of these people. Let me pull this up. Let me share. Yeah. I didn't listen to all of it. I listened to 60%. And so that's why I said, like, you know, I don't know what followed that, but up to 60%. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the realistic, unbiased sort of approach, which I get that, you know, it's not fun, but I don't know what happened after. One of the main things that bothered me was Stuart talking about other creators in a negative way, and he has done that, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're allowed. I will have to listen and shoot. Because there is quite a lot. I'm not gonna listen now to it, but I will have to listen. But yeah, I remember he has done that in the past. I know that, like, I listened one time to Omar, and Omar is a lawyer that deals with these particular cases. So the tilted lawyer, for anyone who doesn't know. And so I feel, and they deal with real estate or something like that. So it could also come from that, where they're just really theorizing and taking it from that perspective and from the law just kind of as it is, versus like real practice that might kind of put a different veil to it, different perspective to it, like for Omar. Or it's just like different people. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting because there's now 3 lawyers. There's not actually Golden. There's Ask Two lawyers, which there are technically 2 of them, which makes it 4, but I'll put them in like an entity. And then there's like the tilted lawyer. There was another one. There was another one that also was doing it. And they kind of all have very different personalities and very different approaches. Not actually Golden is also kind of like Ask Two lawyers, as far as she's not very opinionated necessarily. She has opinions, but she's more like, you know, let me tell you kind of more objectively whether you like it or not. I think she said something about the like motion to whatever that Leslie Sloan, was it that she had? I think this one. No, this one's Judd Wallace. And basically saying, yeah, you may not like it, but he was fair. So I don't know. They actually talked a lot about Omar saying things were unethical. I agree with Omar. Even if it's not legal, it's unethical. Yeah. Yeah. In this video, I'll look forward to it. Like what they have to say. Yeah, Omar is more, I feel, of the people. Like, he speaks more emotionally, but I don't mean that as a bad thing or a good thing. I mean that, like, he speaks less like detached from it. I remember I appreciated him sharing his experience and how devastating things could be, and what Blake is not showing for someone who's claiming these accusations. She's not showing that same emotion. And so I appreciate that. But yeah, like that's why I'm saying like it's they're all different. They're all different. Yeah. Well, we won't talk about them. That's all I kind of have to say about them because that's all I watched. But yeah. All right, let me catch my breath because I'm like breathing like from my neck and not deep breathing. Because I got excited and I got nervous. Like, oh my gosh, too much. Oh my gosh, this is so long. How many pages is this? 45? Well, plus or minus. So, we'll end with Trump and Elon because that's just funny and we'll see what's new. I just want to get through this. I think Dave Neal has been very fair in his videos, and he was mentioned negatively in a prior video, not today's, but one recent, because of the way the title was framed. Okay, yeah, that's going too far. But they have I it takes a lot to offend me and to unfollow you. The only person that I unfollowed and I was not just I unfollowed, but I was like really moved to speak up about and that's kind of like what it takes. Was Donna. I have not watched one of her videos since then. I have like sorry. TMI warning. I have like bird poop. It sounds worse than it is because when you think bird poop, you think of like the street bird poop, and it's not like that. Parakeets are different, unless they're going through something. But yeah, she was the only person, and it was just for me was maybe it'll get to that point with them. I don't know, but like it was just way too biased. What I see from them so far, from Ask Two Lawyers, is just different opinions and just different opinions. Like they're not necessarily what I've seen, not necessarily Maria, not necessarily attacking, but just saying like, oh, I don't know why they said that because this is not really, what it's like. Or yeah, I don't know the Dave Neal one. I must have missed that. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. It takes a lot for me to unfollow you and to get offended. Um, you have to do something like really unethical, in my opinion, and that was what Donna to me did and said. So we'll see how that goes. But you have every right to unfollow and to not follow or not listen to them. Um, I'll let you know if anything comes out. So far, I'll listen. And it took a while with Donna too. Like it wasn't. Some of you unfollowed her before me. All right. Yeah, I was thinking the other day though, like wow, like I'm not even curious of what she's saying about these things. Like I just really just don't want to hear her talk about it. I don't know. Yeah, man. Okay. Brief of Amici Cure, however you pronounce that. Sanctuary for Families is one. National Organization for Women. National Organization for Women, New York City. Women's Justice Now. New York Cyber Abuse Task Force. That just does not sound real. I'm sorry. That one sounds like, not like fake, but like, not reputable. I don't know. What? Her University Inc. That's a weird name. All right. Women's Equal Justice, New York City Alliance Against SA, Coalition Against Trafficking in Women, In what? Okay. National Network to End Domestic Violence, Esperanza United, New York State Anti-Trafficking Coalition, Her Justice, and Urban Resource Institute in support of defendant Blake Lively. And see, like, if they would have said in support of 47.1, that to me would have been different. And a bunch of things, and a bunch of things, and a bunch of things, and more things, and more things. Okay. This is where I blocked her from my feed. Yeah. Yeah, I saw her on TikTok because, yeah, I should have unfollowed her. But yeah, I was on TikTok the other day. Was it on TikTok? Yeah. But she doesn't come up anymore for me either. This is where I was saying on my YouTube, like, I'm just going to react tomorrow or today, you know, I'm just going to keep this for the live because I was so sore. Excuse me, because I'm not doing the vlogs too, I guess. And I'm not, I don't know, I'm not posting that much on social media, Instagram, etc. Let me fill you in. I have three tomato plants. I have one pepper that I don't think is going to make it because I stepped on it when I was planting it by mistake. Dug its hole and then I stepped back and the only plant I stepped on, it was the smallest plant. It was like the tiniest one, not as sturdy, and I stepped on it. So pray for it. I mean that kind of jokingly, but also I'm going to send it good thoughts. It's actually right outside my window here too. So yeah, 2 cucumbers and a strawberry plant and some carrot seeds. Just if they come up, sure. If they don't, sure. I don't really care for the carrots. I just heard that they're good for the soil. And then wax beans and marigold seeds. And then I just planted marigolds because apparently they help with pests and whatever. So yeah, and a lavender plant. And yeah, was it today or yesterday? I got 2 figs, 2 fig. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I am so freaking excited. I love figs. Oh my gosh, I love figs. And in researching how to plant fig trees and how to take care of them, I found out that they're pretty much the oldest cultivation like humankind has. One of them, one of the oldest, like before wheat or before like a bunch of different things. So yeah, I love, love figs. Trader Joe's fig season. Oh my gosh. So this year I wanted, but you know, I wasn't living here at that time, but I wanted for a year to get these trees and yeah. So excited about that. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for 2 days. So I'm not quite caught up, and that's why it's like kind of light on the topics today. But this is a big one, and I feel like I might want to read most of this, if not all of it. We'll see. We'll see. But I saw this, I started reading it, and I was like, oh, I have to say something. I hate just like, come on. Come on. And I also realized that for people who haven't followed, haven't followed this case, don't care to educate themselves on both sides, or are so biased that even if they do get educated on both sides, they just cannot see Justin's side, Wayfair's side, as being good. um, I can, you know, I can't imagine, I don't know, but I can't imagine that happening. And so when they say things like this, they really believe it. When I see this, when I read this, and after so many months of reading so many things from these people from both sides, Not every single thing. Like I said, even in my video, not every single filing, not every single text. But I also watched Lauren, who read every single one, and I watched her read things. So I basically read almost every single thing. But after all of that, when I read deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender, which doesn't make sense. We'll have to talk about the English of that. Um, I see what Blake's doing to Justin, allegedly, in my opinion, theory wise. That's what I see. That's what it appears to me. Deny, I guess not so much. Like, what was she denying? What is he denying? Like, he's denying this, but like, that's his right. I don't think deny should be on there, but I get why it's there. But attacking, I feel like who attacked first? What I remember, and I might be biased, but what I remember in June was she attacked. There were articles against him. So, anyways, reverse victim, I feel pretty sure. I don't know for sure, but I feel pretty sure that she's not the victim and she's reversing it to pretend that she is the victim. And offender, I don't understand the English of that. Like, just reverse victim and offender with each other, I guess. Just to have like a good what do you call these things? Where you have not enneagram. I don't think that's a thing. That's a word. But yeah, anyway, so yeah. Let's read this. The retaliatory defamation lawsuit instigated by the Wayfair parties against Blake Lively is another example of Darvo tactics. In the post Me Too era, which for some reason when I read Me Too, I saw Era Store. I don't know why. I don't know why. Brain. Where perpetrators of SV, whatever, in particular SH, attempt to silence their victims into submission. The thing that screams at me is just the bias that this means women versus men. And I can't help but hear that these people really believe when they write things like this, they have that in their mind, that it's all in their mind, it's always women, whether they admit it or not. And they're like, oh, there's like men too. But that like implicit, is it implicit bias when people say doctor? Now I don't have that actually anymore, but when people say doctor, you think of a guy, things like that. Hi P, welcome. Oh, cleaning time. um that's what I think of when I think of this. So that like bothers me, because also like he has had this in the past. This is the thing that we don't mention that much. And I don't know that we should mention that much, but let's not forget. I almost said let's not remember. Let's not forget that Justin had a woman, a girl, really at that time in college. They were both in college. A girl cross his boundaries, not respect his boundaries, and schmexually. And he just went along with it and convinced himself. And Jamie spoke about in that video that we watched, Jamie spoke about a situation like that as well, where they just went along with things like that because they're men. And, like it was kind of shameful to even admit to themselves that they didn't want it. They didn't want to schmix. I don't know. And you guys don't like 90 Day Fiance, but I get that these like other ways to say things from this girl, My Thoughts, that covers that. So yeah. Anyways, and so now in in their like 30s, 40s, they're like, oh crap, I didn't want that. I said no, and no was not respected by these women and girls. And yeah. So he, not even if it wasn't schmexual, it sounds so weird to say it, in such a serious point, but even if it wasn't that, like, he still had someone not respect his boundaries. And here's this happening again. And he was voiceless. And this is what I was saying on, was it Wednesday or Monday? When you're a victim of something like this, of anything where your boundaries are not respected by the other person, and I mean like actually, not like, people not listening to you or whatever every day. I think we all get that, like in like serious ways. Can add up and it can cause other things, and especially when it's like parents wise. And but I, for the sake of this, like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about these like moments. So you are rendered so powerless that your voice does not mean anything. And here we are in a place where she's doing this to him and to other victims that have had this in their past, where it can be so triggering and can cause, like, I don't know how deep, and everyone has their own story and everyone has like different levels of how they coped or processed through it or etc. But there's some level of PTSD potentially there, where PTSD, as far as like when you like really are taken back to that time, like viscerally, and it's not cool to say, like, to say it so stupidly. It's not cool. It's not. I don't know why, like, I can't think of the word healthy, nice, like, yes, those things, but like, it's not. I mean, it's not moral and ethical for sure. It's not doing good for someone. And for her not only to, you know I mean, so this is why I'm like, this is her reversing everything. Everything's reversed. Even in these filings, she calls PR stunt, PR stunt, PR stunt to them, and then she clearly does PR stunts all the time. They talk to the press. You cannot tell me that this isn't a PR stunt, but whatever. I can also see the argument that these people were alerted to this happening. They were alerted, like, hey, 47.1 is in danger, come help us. And they came to help, not knowing the ins and outs of everything, quite blindly. Like, yeah, they should have done their research. But we saw with that professor or whatever, when, she got nominated for times 100, that didn't that didn't happen. A professor didn't do her research, or who knows. But yeah, so, but she's reversing everything. She's calling them out for what she does in general. I feel like the what is it that she's saying? The smear campaign? Same thing. She's done that in the past. They do a media manipulation to the extreme, and she's calling them like, oh, they're doing this. Well, she has done it before. So that's why this just is so painful to read. Um, yeah. And yeah. And it's painful also, just like, in a way, it's weird, but like, I find myself probably quite an advocate for men in the past like years. I think always, but um definitely in the past years, like, ironically not so much for Johnny Depp. I just kind of stayed away from. Like, it's a domestic dispute. It gets messy in there. It's not the same rules when you're outside of relationships. Like, inside a relationship, it gets messy, and the worst and the best comes out of people, and it's like just a mess. So I'm still kind of staying out of that. I have no idea. I didn't watch it. I didn't follow it. And I just, I hear you guys talk about it, and I kind of just go with what the little I know and what I hear from you, but like I will stay away from that. I don't know. It's too murky with that one. And I can see both sides, and it's just I just don't want to get into that one. But outside of that, especially when it comes to something like this, um, yeah, it's more objective, sort of, not exactly, but you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, I feel like I don't like when things are genderized. I don't think that, I think there are things that are different because of the gender, because of how society looks at gender. I think there are, women that get paid less, or get made advanced. What? Oh my gosh, what am I? Why? I don't know. I'm having like this pain in my back from my stomach, which I know sounds weird. And it's just like throwing me off with my brain. Think with my words. Like, women are not as likely to be given promotions, kind of that kind of stuff. There's definite biases as far as gender, and there are more women, more girls that at least we know are assuaged and so forth. But we've also talked often about, or like recent years been talked often about, how is it more, or is it more spoken about? And just like what Justin brought up in his book, are men even aware that they've been assuaged? For men to like be in the society, they're taught to like really suppress stuff. And the Wi-Fi, don't do this to me right now. Oh shoot, I forgot to start recording. All right, starting to record now. And so to be able to be aware that your boundary has been crossed, you need to understand your boundaries, and you need to understand the nuances of boundaries. And it's so easy. I mean, as a woman, I've spoken about how gray area that can be. And for men, even more, when men are constantly like other men in society and all this stuff, the idea is like men love schmecks, and that's all they want, and they think of that 24/7, and that's all they think about, and all this stuff. And so when they are assuaged, I think, I believe, Justin, that it just doesn't even, you don't even let that be a thought in a way. And so like we don't really know the numbers and how equal or unequal SH is by gender. But as far as like what's been um, brought forth, like it is more women. So, however, yeah, these are strong accusations by people that I feel don't know anything, and they should have known something. I don't know if that makes sense. That's what her new body myth should have been named, smear. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. I probably wouldn't have thought that much about it, but yeah, to have like, oh, SH because he says that I smell good. And I know the nuance to that. She implied that it was this like really like disgusting kind of comment, and like kind of that disgusting tone of voice and all that stuff. Um or like she implied that, if not. But yeah, she wants it all. She wants to be out and about and be in the center of attention, but she also wants to have emotional distress. Let me tell you, when you're emotionally distressed to what she's saying or she was talking about, when you're depressed, even a little bit, I understand faking it till you making it, and I understand going and just fake smiling and stuff. But no, not to that extent. And the other part is she didn't have those engagements besides the another simple favor stuff. She didn't have those things happened after she made those things happen, or Ryan made those things happen, someone made those things happen. They weren't upcoming. It's not like she had these like projects. And maybe the hair mist, I can even give her that, like she had it in theory, it was going to come out anyways. I don't think so, but let's say. But as far as like going on Seth Meyers and this and that, like no, she didn't. She didn't need to. She didn't have those prior engagements, so scheduled. So yeah, she wants it all. She wants it all. She wants to be powerful and having agency and also be a victim. She literally, like, everywhere you look, she wants both sides, and you can't have both sides. Um, yeah. And the Ask Two Lawyers, I'm curious because in this case, like, yes, Justin Baldoni, and I think they talked about it around when I stopped, but Justin has what's his name backing him up, billionaire, blah blah blah. But also technically, that's also afterwards. Initially, she nowhere in her claims did she say that she was intimidated in any kind of way by Steve Sarowitz before this whole thing. It was just Justin and Jamie doing these things and those things and whatevers. And so she had more money than Justin. I think she had more money, and she had more power. So that's the weird part of like, how does 47.1 come in? Like now, yes, you can argue for that because of Steve Sarowitz, supporting Justin, financially for this lawsuit and stuff. But before, I don't know for a fact, but it sounded like she had more money because she's been in this business so much longer. And she also is married, has her husband's money too. But yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm like so. Need to get back to reading this because we're not even done with page 1. Okay. Perpetrators use defamation suits to deny their own liability, discredit survivors of SV. Did I read this already? And reverse the narrative to cast themselves as the real victim. This smear tactic comes at a real cost to victims who muster the enormous courage required to report their abusers in the first instance. Now, also, sorry, I'm already saying something else. I understand also, even I understand people that haven't even experienced SH or anything like it, that come in and can imagine what that would feel like in this case, because I think a lot of times in life you feel like the other person. I feel like it's every single time, not every single day, but every single relationship that we have as people, not just like with our partners, but like every single relationship, you can technically say that they reversed the narrative and made themselves the victim. That is not always, a tactic. I mean, it is a tactic, but it's not always um, purposeful. But I understand what they're saying here. They're talking about, okay, I know, I didn't stand up. Sorry, my watch is telling me to stand up. Also, I can't get my foot, okay, or my leg under. It came. Oh my gosh, I'm too big for this chair. Trying to like squeeze in. It came in because her lawyer, Ezra Hudson, knew about the law in California that would give her the privilege because she was on board that made the law, which is why she had Blake file the CRD in California. and not New York, but then they want New York because that I also find that so interesting. Why are they getting it all? Like, well, we filed this here so we get, this law, and then we filed here so we get that law, and then let's go there. Like, what is this? And they saw the messages from Abel's phone and knew Wayfair had retained a lawyer and her extortion crap on the movie set and filed. Yeah, filed first because of privileges of yeah. Yeah. I believe that. Yeah, I think that's very probable true. I don't know how to say it. Okay, this smear tactic comes at a real cost to victims who muster the enormous courage required to report their abusers in the first instance. Excuse me. If the use of Darvo tactics in defamation lawsuits is allowed to continue unchecked, this is assuming that I don't know. I feel like Darvo is not a real thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a real term, but it's a term that got made up to explain a phenomenon, a pattern, or whatever. But I don't know. Anyways, if you're assuming that it's, you know, that it is unchecked. You're assuming so many things, embroiling victims in costly and drawn out litigation proceedings that force them to relieve their trauma. Yeah, hello. Again, I think of Justin when I'm reading this, not Blake Lively. It will embolden perpetrators and contribute to a culture of silence. And I think the last two lyrics mentioned this too. I think Stuart, I don't know which one of them said, but what if this goes the other way? Like, what if people who are falsely accused see that they stand no chance against 47.1? What happens then? People who will abuse this 47.1 will abuse it, and people who can't defend themselves, that they weren't, aging people or whatever, can defend themselves. So it's like, that's why it's like, I do not envy this judge. That's what I have to say to that. He's freaking stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, but this, like, it just bothers me, this whole, if Darvo tactics continued unchecked. It just sounds... unhealed. Embroiling victims in costly, drawn-out litigation law, it will embolden perpetrators to contribute to a culture of silence. This will impact survivors from all economic backgrounds, including those with the least means to defend themselves, as well as the most high-powered celebrities. Anyways. Amici, move forward. Respectfully submit this brief in support of Ms. Lively's motion to dismiss the Wayfarer party's case on grounds that her statements about the SH she experienced in her workplace on and around the set of Filming It Ends With Us in legal filings to the press and to third parties fall within California's recently enacted SH privilege under Section 47.1 California Civil Code. This privilege, codified in Section 47.1 and similar legislative enactments in New York and elsewhere, play a pivotal role in creating an environment where survivors are encouraged to report SA and H without fear of being sued. Survivors' voices belong in courtrooms, in campus disciplinary hearings, and in public forums. The law should protect survivors' rights to speak their truth, not silence them. Yes. Doesn't seem that's what's happening here, though. I also, don't... Yeah, anyways. SV means that someone forces or manipulates someone else into unwanted sexual activity without their consent and can take the forms of those things. Showing one's stuff without consent or watching someone in a private act without their knowledge or permission. But nothing like that happened here, just so we're clear. Nothing that she said fit into any of this. Nothing fit into any of this. And that's not what she's talking about, SH, not SV, but like, yeah. And that's the thing where, you know, there might be a chance for this 47.1 to not go in effect here, or whatever you call it legally, because like that's different. All of what they're saying and what they're talking about is so different. Gives me a headache. I feel bad for she's making Justin go through. Yeah. For what she's making him go through. Now all people that do SH people and have power just have to file against whomever they are harassing. That's what people will do now. Simply use it. Exactly. Yeah. That's why you can't. That's why I don't envy the judge. You can't just do that. You can't set that precedent either. That's one of the murky parts, because the lawsuit should have followed in same state as Sierra. Yeah. But because they live in New York, I guess they said, well, we reside here and It Ends With Us was filmed here, technically in New Jersey. So here we are, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, just, I don't know. And I don't know how long this will last. It could get like, I feel like it could start going long, this lawsuit. Hold on. I see this ice cream. Can't wait to eat it. I might not want to eat it after though. I'm tired. All right. Amicha are leading nonprofit organizations. Are you leading victim advocates and professionals from around the world? It sounded like they were all just from New York and California and stuff like that. I didn't hear anything in the world. Dedicated to advancing the state, and also like the world doesn't come into place. We're talking about American legal system. To advancing the safety and well-being of survivors of domestic violence. Collectively, Amici provide a broad range of legal and other services to victims and survivors of SV, which broadly includes SA, SH, stalking, and exploitation. Excuse me. With this, I am too casual now, you know, because with my iPad, I was like, I need to like be able to read this, and now I'm like, oh, it's really big. Amici wished to advise this court of the potential chilling effects and an unfavorable application of Section 47.1 in this highly publicized case will have on victims seeking to protect themselves, report abusers, and raise awareness with the public. I will say, I want to know the percentage of victims that are on Blake's side. I want to know, because when I read this again, hearing so many people, so many victims of actual SV, SH, SA, anything are on Justin's side. So I want to see, because how much will they, how will they feel? The people that are on Justin's side feeling like she's their ex, so to speak, like Bohemian Diva said, he's not your ex, because people are like, oh yeah, Justin creeps me out because he reminds me of my ex who did this and that to me. Meanwhile, so many have said, no, she is like my ex. Um, and it's not about the gender at all in this case. And how will they feel if they see this happening? Because when one of the things that was like talked about, but not I don't know, that movie, It Ends With Us, is kind of like such a weird one now after seeing also Bohemian Diva's like different take on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she has a good point. But basically, one thing that was said is like people that are in DV situations, hello, have we not heard of people filming like poking them and then filming when they're attacking them and say, see, they're attacking me, see, I'm the victim here, not them. So this can happen that in that way too. Suddenly the DV perpetrators can like, put this kind of stuff out there and defame or whatever, shun that person from society, from their friends, from their family, because suddenly they have this case that they couldn't win because they're already, constricted economically and so forth by their abusive partner. And so that can also happen too. So I don't know. I don't know about this. Maybe I'm just like really off, but that came to mind as a possibility. I don't know. As active contributors and experts in the scholarship surrounding the dynamics of SV, Amici are uniquely qualified to assist the court in understanding the interests of victims with respect to this issue of common public concern. And this is where it's interesting because, yeah, going back to ask two lawyers, they had said, well, I think it was them, or was it not actually Golden? I think it was them who said like, oh, having people submit on behalf of Justin is not probably a good idea. It's going to make the judge impatient and whatever. And I mean, I can absolutely see that if people are just like doing it for like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I just believe in him. But when it comes to actual real victims, they if but that they probably don't want to be, on the public docket, but they could submit their own amici, whatever, or I don't know how, but as voices that say, hey, no, like, you are not the only ones qualified to assist the court in understanding the interests of victims. I, as a victim, or us as victims, because they can also do something like this collectively, we are also uniquely qualified, having lived through it. We're uniquely qualified to, you know, express our interests as victims. So I can see how that would be helpful for people to do. So, yeah. Um, because this is very one sided right now. And again, it feels like Blake speaking for victims when victims are like, you're not speaking for us, but no one's hearing them because her voice is louder. These organizations' voices are louder. And that's not fair. They're not doing a service to the actual people that they say that they'll help. Argument. Overview of Darvo tactics. Perpetrators increasingly employ Darvo tactics in the workplace and through meritless defamation lawsuits to silence their victims. Yeah, Colonel Kurtz did an amicus brief, but I've not seen it posted. I don't think did she say that she's done, that she submitted it? I thought it was still being done. Darvo is a term initially coined by Jennifer J. Fried to describe the perpetrator tactic to deny committing any wrongdoing, attack their victim's credibility, and cast their victims as the real aggressor and themselves as the real victim when held accountable or confronted with their abusive behavior. Except there is no abusive behavior. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know if this is something that's like legally defined, like SH was defined, like not actually Golden went into what legally the things that need to be there have to be there, what those are. What am I saying? But abusive behavior to me sounds like something that's happening chronically. Like not just like misunderstanding of, coming into the trailer, but like, with malice doing it, and also chronically, like not just once. I don't know. Anyways, uh, that's just it. Her voice is louder. Her mainstream media are saying exactly the same thing, as well as Amika's brief people. Blake is good person, right, and Justin is bad and wrong. She has video tonight about it, but it's too late for me, so I don't know if it's sent yet. Yeah. Um. Uh, I don't know why she doesn't pop up that much. Maybe because I haven't really looked at her. But yeah, so that's kind of my take on that. An application Darvo is a tactic used to urge observers to believe that the only real wrongdoing is a false accusation, a terrible injustice brought on by someone pretending to be a victim. But the gaslighting of this, like, it can be that. It can be that. People who are accused of SH aren't always perpetrators of SH. Oh wow. Oh, is she on LA time or something? 1:05 a.m. Yeah, that's way too late for me too. We'll see it tomorrow. We'll see it tomorrow. Um, she used the word pervasive, which is along the lines of more than once. Yeah. Well, she said there are two. There's pervasive and the other one I can't think of the word, where it was like too big. It was one time maybe, but it was like big. I forget the word. And so what I said by chronic, I meant like more in the pervasive way. An application Darvo is attacked in pervasive, not like, I mean, most of the things that she pointed out, what Blake pointed out, and I mean, again, I will mention this again. When she talked about her father that passed away, and how she phrased that in her complaint, in her lawsuit, how Blake phrased that Justin did not get the message when she joked, oh, tell him he owes me $40. And Justin didn't magically understand, oh, I don't want to talk about this. That is just, gets to me every single time. That is so stupid. That is just the stupidest. She needs to go to therapy so bad. Literally, that is not in saying, hey, this is my boundary. That is not saying no. That is not saying no on any planet, on any of this planet, any corner of this planet. When you say a joke like that, I don't care how she said it. That's not saying I don't want to talk about this. This makes me uncomfortable. This is, too soon for me. I'm still mourning, or whatever. Whatever it is, whatever it freaking is. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Do I even want to read all this at this point? I don't know. The premise is simple. When facing allegations, many accused individuals are more likely to victim blame to shift the narrative. As some have suggested, Darvo is a form of gaslighting in the sense that the person using the strategy rewrites the narrative, rewrites the version of events. And again, this happens every single time in every single relationship, but all right, cool. Because a lot of times, most times, I shouldn't say most times, I don't know most times in these lawsuits, but most times in real life, people have different recollections of the same event. People have different interpretations of the same event. And it can be mind freaking to people, because it's like, sometimes it's so opposite. Like, how in the world did you get that from what just happened, or what I said, or what you said, or whatever? So it's not like, again, my psychology brain is like, okay, but how many times is it just because that's what people do, understandably so, because they're different people with different wiring and perceive the world differently. And how many times is it truly with malice? And then that's why it's like, yeah, like this 47.1 is just so fragile. And it's, oh gosh, I understand that it's protecting maybe more than it's hindering, than it's hurting, but I think that it should be just polished. I really believe that it should just be polished. It just needs some polishing. It just needs a little bit of tweaking. I don't know what that is, but something where victims also on both sides of, such a lawsuit get, a fair shot. I believe the judge will be fair, and any of this will not persuade him. She is desperate and is aggressively PRing. Yeah. Um, um, I don't know. I don't know. I think the judge is doing his best. Sorry, hold on. I'm like really cold. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't walk. Oh, my legs. Okay. And I just put my robe on. I'm like an old lady. Yeah, I think the judge, so far, what I've seen, I agree that he seems very fair, very like matter of fact, not really swayed by fireworks and dramatics and whooshing. So we'll see. But I don't think that he will say, no, 47.1 doesn't apply. My theory is that, and I don't know if this is possible, so this is why, like, this is such a theory from someone who doesn't know much of anything. What I would do, if this is possible, is just tweak it a little bit. Not like tweak, because he can't tweak the civil code, but like apply it after, in this case, after discovery, because both people have the means of it, and because there is a strong case that this was potentially done with malice. So yeah, but it's putting him in a, I said in Wednesday or whenever, like, it's putting him in a very tough position, because if he goes with 47.1, he loses something. If he doesn't, he loses something, and people lose on both sides too. And so it's like, I don't know, but I'm curious, and one side will be furious. I don't think he can please both sides. I don't think he's trying to please both sides. He's just trying to do the best for everyone. But yeah, he is letting them, all them amicus brief people appear. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that he's taking this one very seriously. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how he sees it, This, I don't know. He's so busy. He doesn't know much probably about anything other than like what he reads on these things. I do wonder, is he married? If he's married to a woman, I remember that one guy who I briefly showed and mentioned. He did a this is, I think I'm not gonna finish reading this because my brain, I just need to get to the Trump and Elon thing. My brain is not functioning. The review of Another Simple Favor, and he said that he was going to watch it because whatever, it's a movie. He loved the first one, and then his wife said, "No way, you're watching that." I wonder if that's a conversation that's happening in the Lyman household. It's too new for people to use it like this will harm women. She's already doing that. I agree, it's too new. Yeah, Yeah, I agree that on that too. Because that's the thing. If this was like a law that has been, or civil code or whatever, he'll be the first judge, right? I think so. I think so. I think it's the first case that's because it went into effect in February or January of 2024. I don't know. I'm taking this actually from Ask Two Lawyers, that they said that this is the first case for this 47.1 code. So yeah, if this was like a 5 year, even 5 years old of a code, of a law, of whatever, and has been through a few trials and has been kind of tested out, it would be one thing. But seeing that is new, my initial thought was like, okay, it's a good start, but like it just needs polishing. It needs to, be put in front of real life applications where things aren't perfect, and it should prompt a thought, not just like willy nilly, yes, we should keep it. No, we should get rid of it. Because it has like a good idea, but it just needs polishing, I think. Okay, in attempting to understand how, I think I kind of skipped, I don't know, whatever. An attempt to understand how Darvo tactics are applied situationally, studies have focused on observing how individuals react when they are confronted with allegations of wrongdoing. Oh, let me guess, badly. What person on this planet, unless they're a monk, Buddhist monk, maybe the Pope, some priests, like, who on this planet is like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, probably Justin actually. Like, freaking no one. Everyone gets defensive. In one study, college students and general community members were provided a short form questionnaire with a series of statements representing Darvo methods, including denials, attacks, and reversals of victim and offender. What's 13 saying? Association between defensive, victim blaming response. Okay. Participants were asked to consider a personal example where someone confronted them with a serious allegation of any kind. Each participant during that confrontation, including denial statements like, that never happened, and whatever you're saying happened isn't my fault. Why are we talking about this? This is literally like human life. It's like taking something that is so common, understandably, even though it's not great, it's not pretty, it's not, maybe you could argue, ethical and moral, it's not, but it's so normal. And most of the time, it's an annoying frustration. It can break relationships up, things like that. But most of the time, it's not to this extreme. And yes, when you get to this extreme, it happens. But to me, seeing this, like, this is the study that was done, is just, as a psychologist, I'm not a psychologist, but a psychology, like, passionate, this drives me a little kind of crazy, because I don't feel like this study, and I'll look it up, but it doesn't sound like this is a good study. It sounds like it's a little, it has a lot of potential of bias as far as results, telling people what they want to hear. Because this is like everyday type of thing. What are we doing? Attack statements like, you're acting crazy and no one would believe you if you said anything about it. Reverse victim and offender statements like, I'm the real victim here, you should be apologizing. Yeah, I've had that happen to me. I've done that. Oh, well, not exactly, because these are also like, these phrases are very particular. Not exactly, but yeah, like, I guess I don't remember too much. But like, I don't know, from studying so much about humans in relating to each other in dynamics, like this just, to me, this is extreme. To make this suddenly as like gaslighting, this is not gaslighting. It can be. It this is, I guess, my brain is wired to already think of when you're diagnosing someone. I wouldn't, because I can't, and I especially now, like, I'm so rusty on anything. But if you're diagnosing someone, if a therapist is diagnosing someone with narcissistic disorder, for example, narcissistic personality disorder, or anything, it's not just enough for them to listen to them talk and say these phrases or whatever. It's like a series of things. It's removing bias. It's removing like the person's bias and the therapist bias that shouldn't be there anyways. But it's like you have to be really particular. It has to be all these different criteria that are being met, not just one, and not just like, and to a scale of like 10 or whatever. It's not like, we all do narcissistic things, we all do psychotic things, we all do these things. But like, to actually have a disorder, it's very particular, it's very specific. So that's why, to me, as far as what how they're presenting the study, this does not say anything, and this does not, to the judge, it might be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, this is serious. But to me, this is not, I cannot take this like fully seriously. It's like, I need so much more than this, so much more than this. This is literally what people do in relationships. This is literally what people do when they argue. Not, I mean, again, not all the time, and hopefully not all the time, but like, to a lesser degree, it happens all the time. you know I don't know. Have we heard any women file a complaint or lawsuit using this 47.1 in California? No, not that I heard of. Let's see what ChatGPT says. um California Civil Code 47.1. How is this going to harm women any more than any other laws that don't protect them? Will this law definitely stop women from being harmed? I mean, really, yeah. Um, I guess like the theory is, well, if you want to harm a woman, which again, technically it's not about women, it's general, but most people are going to make this that way. So if you're going to harm a woman or someone in this way, if you're going to harass them in this way, then maybe you'll think twice if you know that they can do like file a lawsuit against you for it, and they not only you will not be able to file a counter lawsuit against them, especially for defamation, but also you will have to pay them for all their um, attorney fees and all that stuff. So in that sense, they're thinking that it's going to stop people from doing that. However, you're right in the sense that there's other threats to be made before someone thinks of suing. I mean, I will say that for me, it's hard. Like, I was fighting so hard to get my check from my apartment building for whatever you call that. My brain is not working. Deposit. And for months, it took over 6 months, I think, to get that check. I probably could have gotten double the amount if I actually went to court. And I didn't even have to, like, it wasn't like a proper court where I needed to pay a lawyer. Did I? No. I think people are not really that, oh, I'm just going to sue this person. Because also, as a woman, I also would be scared. Okay, I sue them, I win. What if they do something in retaliation after that, like physically to me? What if they stalk me? What if they do something, painful, like physically, damaging? What? So I don't think the law is really like that foolproof. And yeah, so yeah, women will still be harmed. People will still be harmed. Um, People might not even realize that they're SHing, which they could say, "Oh, well, yeah, see, that's a thing." But I don't think Justin even did anything like that. Not only realized, I don't know. So yeah, I'm assuming some women in California have come forward. Only one I know is Blake. Um, yeah, no state, no place on this planet is harassment free. I agree, it needs some tuning. It sounds open even to false accusers. Yeah, sorry, I had just put in the thing. You were ahead of me. Um, yeah, it was effective January 1st of 2024, relatively new. There is limited publicly available information regarding its application since then. So it could have been like maybe, I mean, since January 2024, I imagine there's been like a couple of cases, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah. And that's what the two lawyers were saying too, that this is the first one, the first case. Yeah, but yeah, this like really just kind of bothered me or whatever. Like, and I understand, like, there is a difference between um like abusing with these phrases and stuff and saying this, like, you're acting crazy. People say that, they don't really mean it, they get defensive, but sometimes they do mean it. They do it in terms of like reversing and, psychologically kind of making the victims question themselves and stuff. Like I said, like how many, like, we know that this phenomenon exists where people abuse someone and they turn on the camera when the abusee is like, coming at them. So yeah, it happens. But yeah, I need to see a lot more of this. Like, this is not a great example of a study. After considering these items, participants rated their own responses on a scale of 1 to 5, from not at all like this to almost exactly like this. Nearly one third. And also, did they say this was in college thing? Yeah, in one study, college students. So was it a college study or was it a formal study? Because I remember in psychology program, like, you do these studies. I was part of them for like some sort of credit. Um, this is such a stupid, I don't know, it sounds like a stupid study. One thing that one of the first classes in psychology that I did was not research methods. That one was the one that I was scared of. Ironically, I would have loved it. Statistics. And pretty much off the bat, they tell you you can sort of get what you want from data. To a certain degree, data will tell you what you want it to tell you, and you can sort of, do with it as you will, within parameters of what it spits out. And then also with like how you developed the study matters so much. To me, this again is creating bias. Like and then you're talking to college students. They don't know that much. They don't know that much. I don't know. Gosh, this is not, to me, this is not proving their point. Nearly 1/3 of undergraduates and nearly half of the general community population reported using all three Darvo elements during a confrontation. In the undergraduate population, the study found that individuals who reported using higher levels of denial during confrontations were also more likely to employ personal attacks and attempt to portray themselves as the real victim. And you know what you do when this happens? Oh, I don't know, therapy. And you help these people because there's a reason they do that. That doesn't not mean that they will harass people. Additionally, individuals who issue denials, personal attacks, and reversal of victim and offender roles as a mean. See, if they would have put roles, it would have made more sense to my brain. That would be Darvor. Darvor. Maybe they thought that sounded too stupid. As a means of responding to confrontations, are more likely to hold victim blaming beliefs and SH others. Was this part of the same study? Because that's a different study. Individuals who issue denials, personal attacks, reversals as means of responding to confrontation are more likely to hold victim blaming beliefs. My psychology lover brain is just like flaring, is so excited to dig into this, and like there's just, this is so limited. As these studies suggest, when confronted with allegations, perpetrators are inclined to use Darvo tactics to counterattack and shift blame. This is just driving me like to frustration. The one thing that I also wanted to say, as far as they're more likely to hold victim blaming beliefs and SH others, like, I'm sorry, that is not sounding like a sound study. And also, they don't say where this comes from. What is where is the 1,300, 1,300 people? Wait, hold on. Okay, this is 13. So this is the one, but 1,300 people is not a large sample at all. That's a small sample. Primarily male North American individuals convicted of DV perpetrated against another sex partner. Denial, minimization, and justification were present in perpetrators' description of it. This is also not sounding like a great study. This is already biased. Like, it sounds at least like the only sample was A, small, B, only the people that did bad things. That's not really a study. Where's I forget what you call it, but gosh darn, I forget what you call, like, the one that not placebo, whatever. And what was that in reference to? Perpetrators of interpersonal violence thrive when victims are silenced. Form of gaslighting in the sense that the person using the strategy rewrites it. Okay. I don't know. To me, this is so stupid. I feel like a therapist, a psychologist will poke holes through all of this. If I can, not that great right now because my brain's not working, but I can, and I'm not even that. Actually, Brienne said the same thing. She was going to do a deep dive into their case studies. Awesome. Yeah, I know she has a right? She has a psychology background. I think so. So I'm excited for that. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it screams to me. I'm glad that I took, the psychology. I wish that I would have finished psychology. I didn't finish it, but yeah, with just that little knowledge, I'm like, whole. This, and I mean, studies aren't perfect, and there's many studies on small samples, like 1,300 or less, and stuff like that. And that's the whole point. People say this a lot um, with any study. You talk about the study said that, and we're so used to hearing that on the news and everything, but like in reality, you have to be actually really careful with these studies, because under what circumstances, what were the biases, how were biases controlled, um, the control group is the word for the people that are not offenders, for example, and so like how does all of this go? How is it? I remember like in research methods, like they had to phrase certain things a certain way, like they had to do their best to remove any potential of bias, and it's not easy, and it's yeah, and it's the scientific method is also, it's not just like you have one study and there you go, that's it. Like it has to be peer reviewed, there have to be other studies that try the same thing, and if they get the same result, then it's more likely. So that science process, this is like with critical thinking, it's kind of in the same kind of realm, like the science method that is just gone. We don't talk about it, we don't think about it in that way, but that's like the point. Like you can't just like say something and just like, okay, that just these five people say this, well, it means that all these, like, you know these types of, like, it doesn't work that way. Thank you for the hearts. um a study should be more thoroughly researched than this, a large amount of participants. Yeah, yeah. And also, honestly, like I was just saying, like it's also more, like, I mean, imagine, think about that. 1,300 people in North America? That's like nothing. Shoot. Stupid internet. Come on, work. Work. um, it should be more widely researched, yeah. Like 1,300 people is like not even one from each major city. Well, kind of, I guess, but like that's like so small. They're saying a large sample. Oh man. And then the other one was noting that an abuser does not need to have a strong case. I like Lauren can also speak to this, because I think she works in, not this area particularly, but she works with therapists and with mental health, um, and stuff. So nothing, noting of a strong case to file a defamation lawsuit, since such suits are becoming a more common intimidation tactic by abusers. Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, I get that. Understanding and addressing DARVO in the workplace, a guide for HR and managers. LinkedIn. Okay, I'm curious about that. Wait, I don't want to go to LinkedIn. Oh gosh. That's cool. They should have highlighted. They shouldn't. What are they doing? Just having links that are not blued out. Where was I? I'm gonna put that here. Oh, interesting. The article was not found. Did it copy the right? Dang it. Okay. Yeah. It copied the semicolon too. So July 23, 2024. Deny attack, reverse victim and offender roles. Please add the roles there. They have real world examples of a guy that was this AI generated? Look at this image. What is that? What is that trying to like show? I don't even know. I think that's AI generated. All right. Performance issues. Blah 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 blah. Erosion of trust. Whatever. Okay. Cool. Whatever. I don't know what this is supposed to be though. This is just an exam. Just like a, what do you call this article? And then this is the. Let's see, this one I can pull up. So, associations between defensive victim blaming response and the myth acceptance NSH. And can we see it? October 18th, 2023. Accepted October 29, 2024. England. School of Psychological Science, College of Liberal Arts, Oregon State University, Seattle, Washington, Oregon again, Brown University. Brown University was where Blake Lively's character almost went to school in Gossip Girl. Darvo is a response frequently exhibit, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Current study. Okay, so although Darvo was originally proposed to be that kind of tactic, little empirical work has examined the relationship between Darvo and SV. And yet we're talking about it in legal cases. Previous studies have either presented experimental vignettes containing Darvo or asked victims to report on their exposure to Darvo-like responses during confrontations. The purpose of the current study was to explore Darvo's connection of SV by investigating the general use of this tactic in conjunction with a behavioral measure of engagement in SH. The pervasiveness of SH and its less blatantly violent characteristics compared to, for example, those other things, may allow participants to be more willing to acknowledge and report on SH behaviors. How did they do that, though? Blah, blah, blah. The current study tested the following hypotheses. The individuals Darvo use will be positively associated with myth acceptance in both the undergraduate and community samples. Individuals in SH behaviors in both the undergraduate, okay. Since this study is the first to explore these associations, this is the first, yeah, the internet, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is the first, they're saying in October 2023, and this is the one that they're quoting in this legal lawsuit. This is the first to explore these associations. They're also saying, like, we're just starting this investigation. We're just starting this. Like, there's so much to do. An exploratory and also the other part that I was going to say was that yes, people, I can imagine, I can assume that people who use these tactics more, who are feeling more defensive, more emboldened, etc., to do bad things, to do, SH and so forth. Being like denying things like this does not, that does, how do I want to say this? The root cause is not determined as a result, though. They are not doing SH because they are more likely to use Darvo things. And they're not doing Darvo because they're, I mean, that's like the whole thing with studies. Like, the correlation can exist, but cause and effect is not people. And like they are kind of saying is like their hypothesis is that people who are you doing SH and other worse types of things are more likely to use like stronger versions of Darvo. But that's not exclusive to each other. Or is it? I don't know. Because this is the first study, they say, on this. An exploratory multivariate model predicting deny attack and reverse. No specific hypotheses were made for the multivariate analysis. Moreover, given gender differences in RMA, I don't know what that means. All right. Participants are in the graduate samples. 641 students. Prevent self-selection, the survey's listing did not provide specific information measures. Participants were therefore unaware of the study's content when they signed up to participate in the study, which minimizes threats to external validity caused by self-selection. Great, cool. Of the students recruited for the study, 2 did not complete the survey, and an additional 37 did not correctly respond to the survey's 2 attention check questions. How do they know? Data from these individuals were excluded, producing a final sample of 602 students. Good night, Rosewild. Good night. All students in the same, all students in the sample were adults and reported an average of 19.54 years old. Most students identified as women or men, with smaller numbers of students identifying as non-binary, and all that. An administrative error already. Over 3/4 of the students in the sample were white or Caucasian. Most students describe themselves as either not at all or a little religious and politically liberal. I mean, this is such a small sample. Community participants were recruited on Amazon Mechanical Turk, an online crowdsourcing service used by a growing number of researchers for data collection. Okay. So 415 women, 153 men, and 32 other. That's in. They didn't mention that in their study of the study with the Darvo. Isn't that interesting? Chat is slow, internet is slow, everything's slow. I have no data. I don't know why. This is so frustrating. I don't know. Let me know when you can hear me. Although when I say that, if you can't hear me, then that's kind of pointless to say. Am I back? Where are we? I should look. Or maybe because I'm not doing anything on Wi-Fi. I wonder why it's so bad. I'm kind of falling asleep. I'm kind of tired. Where am I? Come on, 0 kilobytes. It's all over the place. I don't understand this. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Can you hear me, guys? I can even like click on my video. Oh boy. Are we back? Am I back? I don't know. It's a little delayed. But what I was saying, and hopefully you can hear me, what I was saying was that isn't it interesting that 68.9% of the college students were women, 41.5 were women from the community sample. And they didn't mention that. So most of these people were women. And most of those people that said, therefore, that said that, oh yeah, I'm more likely to do SH and I'm more likely to employ like, big things. I'm not saying this is what they said, but they didn't mention this this little thing. Most people were white and liberal to very liberal, not at all religious to a little bit. All right. And then mean was 19.5 years of age and 39.8 years of age. Interesting. All right. I'm going to skip through some of these. There's so much. I'm curious to read this now. Procedure. Study measures were administered online survey to recruit students for the undergraduate sample. The survey was posted to the university's human subjects pool research participation system, blah, blah, blah. All participants were presented with the study measures in the same order. Demographic questions, DARVA use, myth acceptance, SH perpetration. Within a larger survey containing personality measures unrelated to the current study's hypothesis. The personality measures appeared prior to the DARVO use items. The 5% trimmed mean completion time was 32.17 minutes among the undergraduates and 33.84 minutes among the community sample. Upon completion of the study, participants were shown a debriefing statement that described the purpose of the study. Undergraduate participants were then granted research participation credit, and those other people given $10 payment. I should do these for money. I should do these like random studies. Okay, results. All right. So DARVO total, all participants 1.4. Wait. Average for the mean study variables were relatively low. Averages for the mean study variables, sorry, I'm very lazy speaking, were relatively low, all below a value of 2 out of 5 for DARVO, SH scales, and out of 7 for the other one. So it wasn't even that big. Oh my gosh, sorry. I need to get the AI back on my keyboard. Results from an independent samples t-test comparing men and women's scores on study variables were also shown in table 2. Ooh, let's go to table 2. So Darvo total 1.83, 1.7 women, 1.8 men, so practically the same. Deny subscale 2.07 women, 2.25 men, a little bit different. Attack subscale 1.65, 1.75. Reverse 1.79, 1.87. The acceptance 2.57, 2.86. NSH 1.47, 1.61. I mean, these are kind of neck and neck things. All right. So this is the college students and that's the community. The other part also, I mean, this is really neck and neck. 1.26 and 1.27 on attack and reverse, kind of the same thing. And Darvo. So, yeah. The other part, as I'm reading this, think about it this way, too, as far as like the study. As far as like SH perpetration, they were saying that that's more likely people will respond, more accurately than if they would be asked for more violent ways. But will they? Especially women will do, and also as far as like women, like, are they aware? I sound really not crazy. I sound quite sound, but like not very. Women are not happy probably with what I'm about to say, but like, men have their own biases. Women have their own biases. I don't think women's biases include seeing themselves as harassers, as attackers, etc. So like, in that sense, like, do they realize? And then also when you think of what I just said earlier on, that Justin has said and Jamie has said, and men are saying more like, oh, I didn't realize that my boundary was crossed. I didn't realize that I was being SH'd and so forth. So do women even know that the man is uncomfortable or doesn't want if he is not expressing that because he is trained, so to speak, to like that and to strive for that attention and so forth. Again, there's like exceptions, but like this is when you're looking at such a small sample and you're thinking of like the cliches, that in my mind that exists. So this is such a weak study, but it's great that it's done. It's not like terrible. Great that it's done. We need just more and bigger. 10 individuals were also described as being accused of misconduct. What are these myths? I don't know. I skipped through that again. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm skipping through this. I'm going to keep going forward and not read the whole thing, the whole amicus brief as I initially thought I was going to. But yeah. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting area of study and definitely worthwhile pursuing, and we need a lot more of these. And as I say this too, we need a lot more of these to understand and to help each other and to help our community, not to use in lawsuits, but to help the communities, help people that are victims and help people that are perpetrators. I've said this when Justin had spoken about It Ends With Us being a movie that will make men think of, why am I doing this? And having them take a moment to pause, hopefully, and say, this is not what I thought I was doing. I don't want to do this. And taking a look at themselves. Like, we need that too. And that's another like downside of this lawsuit and the way that it can go. Like, it's really, it should be treated with a certain amount of fragility, because you don't want to continue these trends and to continue these bad things. And that's another side effect of, excuse me, of false allegations. It's kind of like with and I guess this is a good transition. Even though I was like, I had another thing that I wanted to say and I forget from this study, but this is a good transition. I've said this about, politics side of the coin and stuff. If you are attacking a group and then suddenly either themselves or other groups are using that attack and becoming like terrorist groups or something, do you blame them when they're being attacked to begin with? And people will say, as far as like Gaza and stuff, like, oh, that's not what's happening, blah, 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 blah. I saw this one interview with this lady that was just like, yeah, no, like, we need to take this land back from also not being their land to begin with. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, I worry about so much with this study. They're not saying, oh, this is it, the end. They're doing it quite well, that this is what we found. This is the first study, and not much has been studied about this, and it should be. And I agree that it should be. And I think it's also, we should have these studies responsibly. Yeah. But about half of the sample, 50.7%, agreed with at least one myth at any level of agreement. The most commonly agreed with myth was grape myth, was guys do this. It is usually because when guys do this, it is usually because of their strong desire for schmecks. Sorry for the weird saying. I don't know why I'm trying so hard. It's not like YouTube is recommending these videos that much. Well, a bit, because we got past 200. Was endorsed by 30.8% of participants. The least commonly agreed with myth was this probably didn't happen if the girl has no bruises or marks. And if the accused, do we have, like, we should, I think they have to, like, do they have to submit the questions that they asked and stuff? If the accused person doesn't have a weapon, you can't really call it that. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know that that is not what people agreed with. Those are, more myths. But yeah, look at that. The first one was, when guys do this, it's because of their strong desire for this. And so there we go. Like, that's like a huge thing that like we need to work on as a society, that men are human too, and they have like desires, and strong and weak and everything in between, and they get affected emotionally, and they get affected by things. And so yeah, this is I'm yeah, and it shows, like, I mean, it's 30.8%, but still it's quite high. It's like the highest one that they had as far as the myths of, well, men want it anyway, so you know women can't do SH, can't do these things because men want it anyways. I remember what I wanted to say. All the scenes that I've seen from Housewives and from like reality TV show, 90 Day Fiance has a bunch of these. Other reality TV shows from like not reality, but regular TV shows and movies. How many women objectify men and touch men inappropriately, and it's okay. And when I'm thinking a lot about like clubs, like a trip, but add an S to it. That rhymes. And or like bachelorette parties where they have, they hire someone or all these things, and the idea and just like a whole general sentiment that like men are like, you can't hurt men emotionally or whatever, like they don't have the same boundaries. And that was a discussing part about Blake Lively's ads for her Betty Booze, whichever one she had. I think it was Betty Buzz, and A Simple Favor, with that guy that ended up being like, think about that too. Like, he ended up being the body double for Justin Baldoni, and he had like his legs spread for her to have a martini. Like, that's so gross and disgusting. Anyways, but how much that's part of American society, that's just like a given. You should just do that, and it's okay. Like, men don't have the same feelings. In that sense, it's kind of how women have been treated for so long as second class humans or citizens. How, slavery went. In this particular like instance, that's you can equivalent. If you felt any of the other ones, you can understand this other one. It's not the same thing. It's not necessarily the same level of transgression. I'm just saying, like, as far as empathy, like, it's just this assumption that they're not fully human, that men somehow, are so different and stuff. And I'm not saying that they don't have their differences, and women and men aren't different from each other. But yeah, I'm glad that this was like kind of mentioned as a myth. Like, how many how many times did Justin maybe feel inappropriately touched or something by Blake? And what comes to mind when I'm not saying he did, I'm not saying she did that, I don't know, but it could exist out there. But if he says that, they'll be like, oh no, it's Darvo. So in that sense, he can't defend himself. In that sense, if they're doing this Darvo kind of thing, in that sense, he has no way to defend himself. Because if stuff like that happen, if he says it, he'll look like he's doing this if they, carry on with it. But it reminds us of Henry Golding. Golding? Oh gosh, I just said the same word twice, thinking it was different. I guess that's his name. I don't know. Harry or Henry? Henry Golding. I think, right? Where she admitted that she improvised her grabbing his personal parts, and just laughing about it and all this stuff. What does he have to say about that? But again, to women like Blake, men are second class humans, not citizens. They're first class citizens, but second class humans. They're not as human as a woman. Ugh, so disgusting. Right. Anyways, anything crazy over here? This was crazy enough. Just got on a tangent about psychology studies. As these studies suggest, there was only one study. When confronted with allegations, perpetrators are inclined to use these, frequently employed in workplace settings as a means to undermine a target's credibility and standing. Right. We had only 1 in 11,000 file a formal charge in the U.S. Equal Opportunity Commission. Yeah. I'll tell you that the stuff that has happened to me, and it's not been anything, I feel, anything worth filing anything about, but like, even if it was something worse, like, I don't think seeing someone have protection when filing will make me, feel like, yeah, I should file. There's so many things that go, and I understand that's not necessarily, the end of it, that if for those who do end up filing or feel like they can file, they should have this protection. I get that, but like, I don't know. While survivors do confide in family and friends, or friends and family, stop cutting the sentence. Oh, this is understudied in the workplace because formal reporting rates in the workplace are so low, even though prevalence remains high. Yeah. I mean, there have been times when I've been let go from jobs that were completely there was one, was it 2 years ago, that was just like downright shady, and they wanted to deny me unemployment as well. I'm like, no. And I appealed, and I got the appeal to the unemployment, I don't think, committee. Is that there a committee? I don't know. So I mean, these numbers are not that shocking. This is just like blah blah blah. Anyways, okay, so chilling effect. This is Darvo. What is that from? That's like not a quote, obviously, but like, there's something. I forget what movie that is. Anyways, okay. State legislatures have responded to the rise of meritless Darvo defamation lawsuits by enacting laws affording greater protection to victims of SV. Great. She was not SV'd, but, all right. Notwithstanding the underlying purpose of anti-SLAPP statutes to prevent meritless nuisance suits, many of these laws originally did not include express language aimed at protecting victims of SA. In this part, Amici aimed to equip the court with additional context behind these statutory amendments that demonstrate that they were intended to afford greater protection of speech to victims in Miss Lively's current situation. Blah, sorry. This is the first time in my life that I've gagged. not this time, but like, it's happened before. It was when I was like reading her amended complaint, and that's when it started, I think. I don't know. I think so. It was live with you guys. But that was the first time I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you, Arina? I literally could not control myself. What the heck? This is not the same thing. This is not, like, she's not in a current situation. She's not a victim. Ah. While Amici acknowledged that Miss Lively may not be the intended target for the protections against financial expenses associated with litigation, it is worth noting that she is up against a billionaire who has promised to spend $100 million. Period. On what? That was a bad written sentence. Miss Lively's complaint suggesting that Steve Sarowitz, so alleging, co-founder of Wayfarer Studios, is prepared to spend 100. So this is an allegation, not a fact. She didn't present the fact of this happening, but she alleges that he said this, and the end. So therefore, she's in some danger of money. Also, $100 million. They have $100 million. They have more than $100 million. Lively and Reynolds. And Mr. Sarowitz's attorney confirmed that his client is prepared to spend whatever necessary to defend Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, and himself. Oh, wait, what did he say? To defend? He didn't say to bury Miss Lively. He said to defend? Oh, okay. All right. Noted. This is, I mean, this one's like pretty cool that it has such, unlike the other ones, it has like very straightforward. I want to say factual, but I mean, things. I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm like over this right now. A ruling dismissing the Wayfarer Party's lawsuit would further advance the legislative intent behind recent enactments. Since the rise of the Me Too movement, which originated in the entertainment industry, SV has generated widespread publicity. Disputes involving celebrities and the resolution of their cases carry enormous cultural impact. As some have observed, the impact of Me Too on Hollywood has been profound and far-reaching, leading to shifts in hiring practices, stricter workplace harassment protocols, mandatory training sessions, immediate investigations of claims, and zero-tolerance policies for those found guilty of misconduct. The movement made these issues impossible to ignore by empowering millions of survivors to share their stories, leading to a broader understanding of these things. Supra is, wait, is it in Romanian the same thing? No, peste. Not close. All right, anyways, like above. One of the cornerstones values of Darvo tactics is to tie up the victim's resources. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Conclusion, the pervasive chilling effects of... I'm curious, it is nauseating. I'm curious if... Because they cited so many different sources. And I'm curious if the judge will look at all of those, because just that one alone, that one study alone, it's not like imperfect. It's not perfect either. It's not necessarily, it's like, it's different when you're like stating, look what this study has said, and different when you're actually studying the study, when you actually go through it. So I'm curious if he does that. Although the current study has several important strengths, including a substantial sample size, minimization of self-selection bias, in samples of both undergraduates and community adults, it has limitations as well. The current study signifies an important first step in exploring Darvo, the grape myth acceptance, and SH, but its findings are based on correlational data. What did I say? What did I say? As such, we cannot determine the direction of the relationships identified by analysis. Didn't I just say that? I am glad my tuition that I have, am not paying because I can't pay off. I'm glad that it's going to good use finally. um wow, this is why, like, if you would give me, because I did accounting, I finished with accounting, but I started with psychology. If you give me anything with accounting, I will very likely not be able to help you. But this is like showing how when someone likes something, they will remember things that they studied, even though it was like one class and it was almost 20 years ago or however many long. And yeah, and it was scary. I mean, statistics was yeah, it was scary. It was very intimidating, not scary, intimidating. Um, yeah, but yeah, so it's correlational. It doesn't give the exact relationship. Do grape myth acceptance or SH lead people to use Darvo, or do defensive response style characteristics of Darvo precede these variables? The multivariate analysis in the current study statistically predicts Darvo from the myth acceptance and SH perpetration, but in practice, this reveals nothing about the directionality of this association, which is not what they said. Because in here, in the brief, they kind of were like, but we'll still say that. Okay. Longitudinal research would be able to address the question of directionality and offer greater insight into the relationship. Also, honestly, a bigger and more studies, but a bigger population. And it's also hard. I mean, this is like based on people self-identifying at the end of the day, saying, yes, I did that. Yes, I said that, blah, blah, blah. So there's so much bias in that. But it's kind of one of the best things you can do at this point. You can't really like dig into people's brains and like take out their memories. Related to this issue, the current study did not measure variables that might drive the association between all three variables. As discussed above, variables like a general acceptance of interpersonal violence may underlie people's use of Darvo, endorsement of these myths, and perpetration of SH. Other unexamined factors, such as antisocial personality traits and certain developmental contexts, may similarly lead people to engage in these three phenomena examined in the current study. That's what I wanted to say. I think I started saying it. I don't think I was saying it right. Or maybe I just forgot to say it. But yeah, like, not exactly this. I mean, they said it so much better. But, you know, when what I was saying, like, what's the root of these, both of these things, of Darvo and of SH, like, because when I first like started reading all of this, it made me think of people that just have, I wasn't even thinking about like personality traits or disorders or developmental stuff, but that too. But you know, there's like I've recently learned about masking when it comes to, what did that guy have on 90 Day Fiance? I don't know. Anyways, but like, you know, people can be more defensive, or they can lack awareness, self-awareness, more based on different situational things, different traumas, etc. I mean, one of the things too, like if someone has a trauma, they can also easily use Darvo as far as like, you know, like being so defensive, even though like nothing's happening, but because of their trauma, they think something major is happening. So they're like just going to deny something no matter what. So I mean, it's just like, it's, yeah, I mean, I good for the, you know, all these people at the top here: Sarah Harsey, J Harsey, Alexis A Adams Clark, Jennifer J Fried. I wonder what they have to say as far as how their study is being taken and talked about in here, because it's definitely taken out of context. Like I was saying in, I'm going to save it. As far as I was saying, data can be inside like the parts of it that it does say, and I'll, you know, how am my brain is not working, or my mouth is not working, or they're just not connected. But data can say whatever you want to say to an extent. So that's what this shows. Like, these people really want to prove their point, and they're going to cherry pick what the study says. The study says that there is some association, and although, you know, it was a decent sample size, blah, 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 it is not perfect, and it does not show directionality. It doesn't show if Darvo causes SH, SH causes Darvo, sort of causes, and so forth. And like, it also, what I was just reading, like, other things, other factors can play into the use of Darvo tactics, so forth and so forth. So yeah, they did a good job as far as like being fair. They did not. Like, they did not. All right, moving on for now to this wonderfulness. Trump and Elon Musk. And so yeah, my take on this was poor Blake Lively. I still stand by that. Um I have them kind of pulled up here. Let me go to my notes. My gosh. Where am I? Okay. So my first note was, wait, so all of this was over the EV incentives being cut, or whatever, EV something? I remember the black eye thing, that Elon was on his way out of the White House, being like as involved in the White House politics of it all, or whatever, which I didn't understand why. Why suddenly he was like, okay, cool, I'm done. I'm gonna, go do other things. And then the whole black eye situation, whatever. Do I believe that was his 4-year-old? I don't care. That's my stance on it. But yeah, it'd be interesting if it was Trump, but I doubt it. So, but this started out of this bill. I didn't even know. I've heard of the big beautiful bill or whatever, but I didn't know what it was. I don't know if it is this. Oh, sorry. Wow. Okay. So I was watching The Daily Show, but I will not share it for commentary because I do not want to deal. This is an example. I'd rather just like talk about it and go around it than deal with going through the process of appealing to YouTube. Like, no, this is for commentary purpose, blah, 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 Fair Use Act, la, 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 la. So we're going to do this. So yeah, so this is Elon saying, I made you, and like everything else, I can blow you up. And they had this was Michael Costa. They had a graph, or not a graphic, a photo of like a Tesla burning and stuff. Because he said, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Democrats would control the House, and the Republicans would be 51 to 49 in the Senate. Such ingratitude. Also, so the Republicans would still be more in the Senate, is what he's saying. I don't know. I'm confused by that. But so yeah. Then Trump swinging back with, which, to say this, there's but again, right now, many Americans don't really listen to the truth. So let's move on. Donald responds, Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate. Just like all the toys that he's taking away from kids, because they can do with just 5 toys. That forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. I think many people wanted. That he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. So basically, Elon is Darwing Trump, is what Trump is saying right here. to tie it back to that, the last 2 hours or however long. It's like, I told him, he knew about it. Now he just went crazy, saying like, "Oh no, I didn't," but he did. He's gaslighting me. Um, Also, I have a big bone to pick as far as like EV electric vehicles. I really don't like full on EV. I just don't think our infrastructure is there, and I just don't like the idea of it. Right now, like in theory, yes, but like right now where we are. But I love plug-in hybrids. Some are better than others, but like a true plug-in hybrid where it has enough gas to get you somewhere to a gas pump somehow, but it has also like a robust battery. It's not like just 50 miles. That's like my dream car. But I also have like a bone to pick with my ex had to buy a new car, and the dealer guy basically talked him out of it. I mean, he wasn't really like sold on the EV side either, which I just think it was like not fully informed kind of a decision or assumption, um but the dealer like talked him out of it anyways, or whatever you call it, when he wasn't into it that much anyways. I was like, what the heck? I don't know. To me, it's a big deal because A, it saves so much, so much. I talk about like my stepfather has a hybrid, like a not a plug-in, just a regular hybrid from back in the day, like however many years ago when they first started coming out, and Toyota. And like I went to New York and back, and it was like you just put gas once, and I still had some left. And then when I used it around here to like go to work one summer, that same summer, I was maybe putting gas once a month. Whereas right now with my car now, just regular car, not electric, not EV, nothing, I put once a week if I would go to work. So yeah, I just blew my mind. Like, uh, don't get a plug-in, yeah, because he didn't really have a place to have a plug-in, and then neither at home or where he worked. So I'm like, okay, cool, that makes sense, but like hybrid at least. I could not, yeah, that, and he didn't give me a booster seat for the passenger side. Those are my two bones to pick with him, but not really. I already picked those bones. But yeah, so as far as like nobody wants these, like might be also because of the marketing, Donald. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars. Is he German? Because he like is capitalizing all the words, is to determine, and I like how he didn't capitalize "and," is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Uh, who invited him into like, the politics side of it? Who was like, yes, Elon, come here with me, come here with me, be here with me? It wasn't Biden. What, what the heck? Sorry. Um, by the way, can we just oh, then yeah, sorry. This is Michael Costa then. By the way, can we just point out how crazy 2025 is? I'm not a stand-up comedian, so I'm not going to necessarily do this justice, but it's the best I can do right now. Most people can't afford to eat eggs anymore. Meanwhile, these two billionaires are attacking each other from different social media platforms that they each own, Maybe we should eat the rich, he said, and the audience cheered. I would not want to eat any of these. Neither of these two individuals look appetizing. And before you go and say that I'm Army Hammer like or whatever, uh, no, I don't think I would eat any human. I don't believe that Army Hammer eats humans either. I believe him that he says like that's never even come close to that. I'm just saying like if it would be the case, neither Donald Trump nor Elon Musk look edible. Like they just look not so edible. They look a little fatty. And I'm not into that. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I might get in trouble for that with them, but like, no, thank you. I'm good. Anyway, so Elon swings back with time to drop the really big bomb. The real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. That this was when I decided. I mean, this was the first thing that I guess read by this. I was sent, and I was like, I need to talk about this. This is hilarious. This is so cute. This is so cute. They do need to grow up. But if they grew up, if they were grown-ups, would we have this much fun right now? No. So do they need to? I mean, in their power that they have, yeah, they probably should for our safety as human beings. But is it fun to watch? It's fun to watch. And then things happen like Steve Bannon demanding Elon to be deported. And I thought of, how Trump just pardoned or whatever, made white South Africans refugees. Like, great, come here to the U.S. So that's going to be a weird, like, never mind, we're sending you this one back. Musk supporters calling for Trump to be impeached. This is getting interesting at that point. President versus Elon, who wins? My money's on Elon. Trump should be impeached and JD Vance should replace him. Also, why bring JD Vance? If you love Elon so much, just make him, I don't think JD Vance would be able to. This is like unappetizing, yeah. This is my personal opinion, maybe because we haven't seen that much, I don't know, but I feel like JD Vance could not make it as a president. Like, he could not withstand the presidency because it's stressful. I mean, Trump makes it look like not that stressful, but it's stressful, and I just don't think JD Vance has it in him. I think based on how he talks like we think these people need to grow up. I feel like JD Vance is like completely immature. Like, he just like is very into his thoughts, kind of also changey here and there, but it just doesn't look like he could handle being the president. He just does not look like that. Who knows, I guess. And this is saying much, compared with what we're having now. And then sorry, oh my gosh, where is it? Michael Costa said, but some sober minds are calling for a ceasefire, and he posted this. Kanye West saying, bros, please no. Hug. We love you both so much. Okay. But yeah, I think we all think how interesting, how ironic. And I want to close with, well, not exactly close, but close this chapter, close this topic. How I should have started if my brain was as clear as it was when I put this live together with, because baby, now we got bad blood. and I was going to sing it, but I don't feel like singing is my strength right now. But yeah, that's what came to mind. Because also, I guess, like, I was, doing the Lively and Taylor and stuff and blah blah blah, and she has her records and whatevers, and I thought, yeah, this like overshadows them. Like, we thought that's bad. Like, this is like bad blood song central over here. To like pull in the Epstein thing, to pull in impeachment. Like, this is bad blood. They have nothing on Taylor and Blake Lively with her new squad, Blake's new squad of her sister and whoever. And I did find that offensive, so to speak, when Andy at Popcorn Planet was saying that Blake Lively wanted to show that she has, like, true friends on her side, blah blah blah, not Taylor, who betrayed her. And I'm like, how Taylor betrayed her while Blake threatened her? So Taylor was like, I'm staying out of this. I don't want, part of this. And that's a betrayal because you threatened her and she didn't want to be threatened. All right, cool. I mean, allegedly. But yeah. So Dave Neal, I saw, posted another Taylor Swift song, Look What You Made Me Do, which I thought was like kind of fun, and yeah, it works. But I think Bad Blood is a lot more the theme of what is happening right now between Elon and Trump. I'm sorry, I was going to sing it, but I can barely talk right now. But yeah. Any. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe I should sing it. Keep in mind, I'm not in my best right now, and I'm not like the best singer to begin with. So, but I think some of these lines need to be addressed. The regular, cause baby, now we got bad blood. We know you used to make mad love, blah 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 blah. But then now we got problems, and I don't think we can solve them. You made a really deep cut, and baby, now we got bad blood. Wow, I'm not even trying. This is so bad. Did you have to do this? I was thinking that you could be trusted. Did you have to ruin what was shiny? Now it's all rusted. Did you have to hit me where I'm weak, baby? I couldn't breathe. This is so, oh my gosh, this is like memes. These will be memes. Someone needs to make this meme. Bad blood, Elon and Trump. Hi, Angel's Voice. Welcome. Yeah, welcome. Everyone's cleaning. I've been avoiding putting away my clothing for like, I think just 2 weeks from, laundry. But yeah. Sorry, I'm like reading this. Is there anything else? I just thought that first part was like, wow, that's spot on lyrics. Band-aids don't fix bullet holes. You say sorry just for show. We haven't gotten to that part. I'm sure they'll say sorry at one point. I mean, they both need each other. I don't know, to an extent. They both need the money that each other has and the popularity, yeah. This is so crazy though when you think about it. How old are they? Elon is 53 years old. Hey, his birthday is soon. And then so 53 and 78. I don't know why I thought he was 80 something, Trump. 78, okay. Yeah, and this is how they're talking to each other. Yup. America. All right, well, it's not too early, unfortunately. Somehow we got so many hours, and my brain, I don't know where it's at. I'm gonna try my better on Monday. What is wrong with my brain right now? Oh my gosh. I woke up on Thursday at 7 to like plant everything before it rained, and it didn't rain. And then I did some more, and I didn't realize how much work planting kind of, yeah, like I had to sort of undo the earth and then add some earth and blah blah blah. I did not know how much it is. And so yeah, I think after that, and there was like another early day before that, but that one specifically just was like it I'm still recovering. Yesterday, oh gosh, it was tough. So this was all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm a little frustrated because that was like really fun with the psychology study. Um, but I'm just like brain not really functioning. I started kind of like, yeah, we're going to do music in this, and let me put the music back as we're, you know, going out. But yeah, like I was excited with music and this and that, and then my brain died. It was all the like that Darvo and Darvo and Darvo again and Darvo again and all this stuff. It was just my brain, I think, was like, we don't need this. This is just ridiculous. Let's just go to bed. This is just ridiculous. Like, anyways. So, but thank you for being here, everyone. It was fun, and yes, thank you so much for the, you know, help and being here through making it to 200 subscribers, over 200 subscribers now. It was like the May goal, so that's exciting. Off to 300 and 500 by the end of the month. That's impossible. No, not impossible, but highly, highly unlikely. And it's been hard to do those like shorter clips and stuff and blah 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 blah. Yeah. So song is this? I don't like this song. This is a little better, but this is too much. Sorry. Okay, yeah, this is a little better to like go out with. So yeah, so as I was saying in the comments, like it's because of you guys too. I mean, it's really because of you guys. I started covering this topic because of me, because I was like, I have my own unique voice in this, I feel like, and I just want to talk about it. And then somehow you guys found me, and then I like that. I think it was from the first live, if not all of you that are still here now, some of you. And I was like, oh, this is fun. This is cool. I can do this. And every single time I like look forward to these lives, mainly because I get to interact with you guys, and I love it. So as a result, I kept on doing them, and little by little, people are, I guess, are like finding it, and I don't know what everyone likes about it, but I'm glad, because I'm definitely not at the top of my game. So if you like it now, hopefully you'll like it at the top of my game if I ever get there. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, both Marias, again, and keep posting like you do, and it will catch on. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, not everyone's for everyone, and I don't know. I don't feel like I have like, I don't think people like get me because I don't get me. Like, I don't know my like angle on this, and stuff. But yeah, I'm here. I don't know. In the last couple of lives, I feel like I've been a mess, but it's working. I don't know. I appreciate it. Thank you. But a huge thank you for you guys, the OGs, the OG group, little mods. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go. Enjoy your weekend. Hold on. Before this is probably like nothing, but there was like a new filing. I'm not gonna read it right now if there is anything crazy, but no, I don't know. Maybe it was something older that got like a notification. Anyways, cool. So have a great weekend. I will see you. Oh wait, hold up, hold up, hold up. I did see this. Hold up. Shoot. Hold on. I'm like, I saw this like briefly, and wait, why is the internet not working?
Have no shame, there's no time. Feel the pain, live the grind. I could change, in my mind, pick a lane.
Okay, sorry about that. He just returned to the U.S. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. I don't know which one to pick. Has been returned to the United States to face federal criminal charges. For months, the Trump administration has been locked in an intense standoff with the federal judiciary over court orders for the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return from El Salvador, where he was mistakenly deported in mid-March. Ads. In a situation that one federal judge warned could present an independent crisis between the two branches. Oh my gosh, this is going to be really weird. I can't make this go away. Okay, anyways. Just try to ignore all the ads. The indictment, unsealed Friday afternoon, accuses Abrego Garcia and others of partaking in a conspiracy in recent years in which they knowingly and unlawfully transported thousands of undocumented aliens who had no authorization to be present in the United States, and many of whom were MS-13 members and associates. Abrego Garcia and his family say he fled gang violence in El Salvador and has denied allegations he's associated with MS-13. However, President Donald Trump on Friday praised Bondi and the Justice Department for Abrego Garcia's return, and he said it was the department's decision to bring him back. What the heck? What the? No more CNN. No more CNN. You give me that many stupid ads and things and thing. Blah. No. Go away. Let's see how BBC does. Anyways, Trump said basically it was a mistake, blah, 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 blah. Allegations. I just want to know what's next. Like, when is it starting? All right, well, I don't know if I missed it. I'm not going back to CNN no matter how good that article is. Stupid. Just ads and pop-ups and everything. Yeah, I saw his name when I was like, I don't know, doing something in like a, a thing, a blurb, or something, I don't know. And I was like, I don't know, I just didn't click on it. And when when the computer was doing things, I saw that. I was like, whoa, that's awesome. Because I mean, that was like, it was one of those things that people were just like just saying and saying and saying and saying, and nothing was happening, and it was just like maddening. So yeah, great. although it seems like it's just starting again. But at least he's here. Crazy. Anyways, all right. Well, on that note, have a great weekend again, and happy Friday. Made it through this week. First week of June. Don't know what that means, good or bad. I don't know. But I'll see you guys Monday. And have a great weekend. And let me play the music again. Which one was it? Was it this one? Yeah. I look so weird right now. Good night. Peace, love, and compassion. And stuff. I don't remember. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. All right. Bye.